What's going on, everybody? It's Chris with Committed 3D Tech. In this video, we're going to be reviewing the Hivemapper Dashcam and the Dashcam-S that's going to be coming out later this year. I was fortunate enough to get an interview with Ari Bruck, who is the head of hardware over at Hivemapper. I'm not an expert at recording remote video interviews, and so unfortunately, I didn't get any of the audio from Ari. But we talked about it, and what I'm gonna do is just disseminate all of the information that him and I talked about. We're gonna go over the good things that are coming. We're gonna talk about some of the solutions to the issues that I had in the previous review. And we're gonna talk about why I'm super bullish on the Hivemapper. As long as that's okay with you, Ari. I think we got the thumbs up there. Of course, if you want to get your very own Hivemapper Dashcam or the Hivemapper Dashcam-S, there's a link down in the description. I have an exclusive 10% off code for either of those units. Other than that, if you're looking for a new cryptocurrency exchange, MXC is coming up and they are coming in hot. For US users, there is no KYC requirement for under 10 Bitcoin. I think it actually might be 20 Bitcoin now. That might have just changed recently. They also have over 1,400 altcoins. Most exchanges only see 600. And on top of that, they have some super low trading fees. It's only 0.2% per transaction, which is absolutely phenomenal. So you can use the link down in the description and get signed up there. They do have some bonuses and things coming up with that as well. So feel free to do those if you want to do them. And other than that, let's get into reviewing the Hivemapper Dashcam and the Hivemapper Dashcam-S. This video is sponsored by my bank account. If you watched my most recent video on the Hivemapper, you saw that I did have some issues. So we're going to start there and compare the different dash cams, because going over some of that, I'll be able to clarify the issues that I had, why I had those issues, and then what's coming in the future. So of course, we've already reviewed the HDC, the Hivemapper Dashcam. I'll tag a link for that down in the description if you want to just see that one. And then I've also gotten to jump onto it's like a pilot program where I got to use a Blackview Dashcam and explore the Hivemapper app, see what the interface was like, do some actual mapping. I did have some issues with that. We'll talk about that in a second. So what is the main difference between these two? Well, the biggest thing is that the Hivemapper Dashcam is for mapping. So yes, you're going to be able to access your data. You're going to own all of the mapping data. But this isn't what you would consider a traditional dash cam. So the reason is it's only catching about 10 frames per second. Now it is 4K, so those images are going to be very crisp and clean. But the difference is that the Dashcam-S, on top of being smaller and more discreet, it has a few extra features for those of us that actually want a dash cam to be able to record for security purposes or for accidents, etc. And so the HDC-S also includes 30 frames per second in 4K for video. On top of that, it will also be mapping the 10 frames per second in 4K as well. So in the last video, I talked about the issue with uploading data. So basically, with the Blackview Dashcam, we have to understand, number one, that is recording heavy video. When it's transferring it onto your phone, it's gonna take a minute because number one, it needs to transfer the files onto there. And number two, it also needs to break it down into this 10 frames per second format that is used for the mapping. So the Blackview Dashcam was not designed for what they're doing. Really, it's just to test the network to see what works and what doesn't work. And that's one reason that Hivemapper is making their own hardware, is because they're designing this to do specifically what we want it to do. On top of that, afterward, you need to upload the data to the Hivemapper network. Ari did confirm a couple things for me. Number one, they have lots of other features like the uploading. You don't have to do it from your cell phone, so you're not going to be utilizing a ton of data unless that's what you want to do. They have a setting where it'll automatically start to upload once you hit whatever Wi-Fi network you selected. In theory, you'll probably use your home network because that's where you'll most likely be majority of the time. And you don't have to upload the data right away. It just needs to be transferred onto your phone, and then it can be uploaded at a later time on a network that's not going to charge you an arm and a leg for uploading data. Now, the other cool thing, so the power is actually going to be plugged in through the AC outlet, the cigarette lighter. We are actually going to be able to plug the USB directly into that. So we're not going to have to be fiddling with the dash cam to pull out and access the data that we want. Now, this is important because obviously the Hivemapper Dashcam is only going to be doing mapping data. That's the still images, that's the geometric data. For the HDC-S, this is going to be your security footage. So if you get in an accident, you can literally just grab that USB drive out of the car, take it up with you. Boom, you've got it. It's in your pocket. The next thing is, like we said, the HDC-S is going to be smaller and more discreet. And so I really, really like this. Some of you saw in the last video, one of the issues I had installing the Blackview was that my toll tag was in the way. And so this HDC-S is actually going to be able to fit right there despite the toll tag. And I'm really, really happy about that. Now, my plan going forward, because you can have two of these in your car, in any car. So my plan is to have the HDC in a side-facing view, and then the HDC-S, I'm gonna have the front-facing view, mainly because if any accidents happen or anything like that, I want that to be the main camera. I've gotten a lot of questions, oh, Chris, should I get the HDC or should I get the HDC-S? Like I said, in my opinion, I want one of each. I want to have two cameras. That's gonna give you more mining rewards, I'm guessing, because you're gonna be providing more mapping data. The big difference though is that the HDC is going to ship late this summer. So if you ordered your HDC already, I'm going to show you this screenshot of what I got emailed. If you live in any of those cities, then you can expect that your HDC will be shipped later this summer. The HDC-S, you can expect to ship 2 to 3 months later, AKA winter, by the end of 2022. We're going to talk about a couple other things and the differences between the cameras. So obviously the HDC-S is going to have better hardware. It's got a higher frame rate. We already talked about that. Just better hardware in general. Now, something cool, which is actually kind of new to me, there are special communication sensors that are going to be in this. And Hivemapper is going to be one of the first secondary mining companies to be utilizing the Helium network. And they're using the LoRaWan part of it, the long PHY, which is pretty cool because I know a lot of people are complaining that they're switching over to 5G and no one's getting rewards anymore. But this is actual use case for the LoRa network. And so I'm really, really excited about that. This is one thing I'm super confident that Helium is going to succeed. I know there has been some FUD and people aren't super happy with how Helium's gone about the new HIP 51 change. But what I will say is Hivemapper, their business model with this is very, very similar to Helium. They actually have some people from Helium on their board. And the best part about what they're doing is these devices, the way that they map, these devices will be able to be used for 5 years, 7 years easily, in my opinion. And so obviously they're going to be providing upgraded equipment, you know, when we get 5K, 6K, 8K, 10K, whatever, 5 to 7 to 10 years from now. Obviously, companies are going to be putting out these dash cams with better hardware, better tech, because they want to provide the best data for everybody. But these 4K ones, I highly doubt that they'll be outdated for at least a few years, probably more like 5 to 7 years in my opinion. I'm expecting buying this mapper, being able to map for quite a while. And then of course, here's the power wattage. My hope is that eventually we can just power it via USB. I don't think that's possible at the moment. I could be wrong about that, but that's where we're at right now. For sure, the power will be plugged in via the cigarette lighter. And then of course, price-wise, HDC-S, a lot of good hardware packed in. It's going for $649. The HDC, the original Hivemapper Dashcam, going for $549. Like I mentioned, if you want to get your own, you can use my link down in the description and you'll get 10% off. That's either the HDC or the HDC-S. So you'll get roughly $55 off the HDC, or you'll get roughly $65 off the HDC-S. Whichever you choose, you can get one or both or multiple. Let's say you want to put them in all of your vehicles. Feel free to do that because you'll be mining. You'll be able to mine no matter which vehicle they're in. You can have a max of 2 in each car though. And then I just wanted to touch base on this again because there's a reason that I feel like Hivemapper is a good investment. And this is the main thing, mapping data. We've talked about it before, $1.5 billion industry for Google Maps back in 2019. And that was just Google Maps. There's multiple companies doing this. So the big thing, the data is going to be fresher because they have contributors on the road frequently. So the data is going to be fresher. The resolution, it's going to be 4K or better. And you can get it from every perspective. We're going to have it from the front facing and the side facing. We're going to have multiple contributors. And it's cool because the Google car in cities like Los Angeles, it probably drives down your street once a year. In more remote areas like middle of nowhere Africa, maybe once every 5 years. That's when the Google car goes around. And so the fact that this data is going to be super fresh and giving you this really high quality data, it's pretty amazing in my opinion. And I did want to just go over this really quickly as well, the Honey token, because that's the big question for everybody. How much cryptocurrency am I going to earn from doing this mapping? So there is a fixed supply of 10 billion Honey tokens. This is going to be the initial allocation for it. So 70% is going to be going towards map coverage and quality. The next 20% is going to go to map consumption, which is when a map tile is consumed via any API, it earns incremental rewards. Initially, there won't be any rewards for map annotation and quality. This is another way that you'll be able to earn Honey in the future. Map validators is going to be another way, and that's validating the quality signals. But the difference is you're going to have to stake Honey in order to become a validator. That's going to be 5%. And then of course, map processors. These are those providing resources for operating the network infrastructure. And then here, of course, you can see the Honey token distribution over time. And so you can see it stabilizes around 5 to 6 years, and it should hold steady after that. So I'm extremely excited about this project. And I see really, really great things coming for it. Of course, make sure you come back to me because I'm going to be reviewing Hivemapper indefinitely for the unseeable future because I'm really big on this project. So there you have it. That's the comparison between the HDC and the HDC-S. Like I said, if you want to get your very own Hivemapper Dashcam or the Dashcam-S, there is that link down in the description. You get 10% off. It is an affiliate link, but that just means that I get a small commission at no cost to you. It really just makes it a win-win-win across the board. Other than that, make sure you've subscribed because I have lots more content coming out on crypto and tech and investing platforms. I'm going to be reviewing some new crypto hardware that's coming out as well, ways to keep your crypto safe, ways to invest, and all of the like. And other than that, if you haven't smashed the like button, make sure you do that because I genuinely do appreciate it. It's going to help push this video forward to a larger audience so that more people can learn about the Hivemapper Dashcam and benefit from these rewards early on. And with all that out of the way, thank you from the bottom of my heart. My name's Chris with Committed 3D Tech, and we'll catch you next time.